Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Dallas Daily Show podcast, coming at you from the Neighborhood Loan Studio here in St. Louis, Missouri. Today's episode is Rubik's Cube and the algorithm. Ooh, let's get into it. All right, so growing up, Rubik's Cube was a thing. My oldest brother, he had Rubik's Cube for a while, and he had a bunch of different shaped ones, not just the typical, 3x3 cube that you can do, but also he had like round ones and he had multi-shaped ones, and it was just never anything I got into. I was the kid, I was the savage who would take his Rubik's Cube and pull the stickers off of the colors and put them on one side so that I could solve it without actually solving it. And he hated that. I don't know why, but he hated it. So I've never been a Rubik's Cube person, but my kids got way into it this last year, like overboard. My oldest son, now 14, he was 13 at the time. He got way into the Rubik's Cube, and what you can do now is you can put into ye old Google or ye old YouTube search engine, and you can type in solve a Rubik's Cube. Here's what I didn't know about the Rubik's Cube was, and maybe you know this, I didn't. I just was like, well, it's a puzzle. I don't know. How do I got to get to it? There's an algorithm that if you follow a two twists to the right, one up to the left, this cube, that, like if you follow it, you can solve it that fast. And there are literally competitions. There are world record holders. The normal, typical Rubik's Cube is one thing, but did you know you can buy speed cubes that are like super loose and you're like, done. And so you can't figure it out until you understand the algorithm. But once you get the algorithm, holy cow, it's all about just speed at that point. It's about acceleration. It's about scaling and learning to get better and faster and try this one. And they had one called a mirror cube that had different shape pieces and just this whole Rubik's universe, I would say. I mean, like insane to me. And my kids got way into it. So the 14-year-old learned how to do the basic one. And here's what he did was he did it. And then he got smoother at it and he got better. And then he wanted to start showing it off to everyone. Yes, he showed his brothers how to do it. And then our second son, Arthur, so Lex is our oldest, he then showed Arthur. Arthur then YouTubed it as well and learned from Lex on how to do it. And then all of a sudden, all I'm hearing is for like 3 weeks in our home. That was the sound. Now, granted, they weren't on a device. They weren't in front of a screen. They weren't asking to play video games. All I heard was, got it. I would constantly. And then they'd bring it to me. This was, all right, so maybe this was more annoying than them being on screens. They'd be like, Dad, mix it up for me. Try and stump me. And I go, okay. And I'd mix it up a dozen ways. And then, boom. And then they started taking it to school and they started taking it to their friend's house and they took it to church with them and they'd hand it to somebody and they go, mix it up, see how quickly I can get it. And they'd turn away from it and they wouldn't show that, they wouldn't look. And then they just, all right, time me. Got it, sort of thing. And they wanted to use their allowance money on speed cubes, all of it. I know I'm getting way into this, but here's what fascinated me about it was once they figured out the formula for success, they wanted to try it in every environment and they couldn't wait to actually show it to other people. Let me say that again. Once they figured out the formula for success, they wanted to try it out in every environment. They wanted to show as many people as they possibly could. And I started thinking about you and I started thinking about, life is filled with algorithms. Life is filled with opportunities to figure it out. There are ways that we can figure out the algorithm to a relationship, figure out the algorithm to entrepreneurialism, figure out the algorithm to sales. There's playbooks and things that we can learn, but then we have to practice it. Then we have to hone it and get better at it. And then we actually have to try it out in different environments. See, I now talk on stages, I talk on camera, I talk on microphones, I talk in small groups, I lead one-to-one coaching clients, I lead group coaching things, I speak on virtual summits. But until I understood the principles of storytelling and how to get A, B, C, and move people toward a thing, I couldn't go into all those environments and be very effective. But now, as a communication person and as a communication trainer, I can go into every environment. I can sit with CEOs of Fortune 500 companies, and I can sit with business owners who might have 5 to 10 employees, and I can sit with solopreneurs who are just getting their business off the ground. And because I understand the principles of powerful communication and persuasion, I actually can teach them those things. And all of them get value out of it because I figured out the algorithm, and now I've honed it, and now I'm practicing it in every environment and getting better and better and better and accelerating. And the question I have for you is, where in your life have you figured out the algorithm, but you haven't yet started testing it in all the environments? Because mastery is being able to understand the principles and the practicals to get people to move in a direction for you. So in your life, can you figure out the algorithm and then repeat your success? Or maybe you already are in an area and you're just not sure this is what you're calling it yet. Maybe you need to start saying to yourself, no, I'm ready to succeed in every environment. I'm ready because I know the principles and I know the practicals and I know the application, and I can bring people to a higher level. Oh, it's time I just start practicing it more and more and accelerating in my own success more and more. I know this sounds like a business thing, but the truth is, gang, my wife and I had to figure out how to raise kids too. And we did a lot of things wrong with our first kid that we don't do with our second and third kid. We figured out the algorithm. And by the way, they're all different. They're all their own Rubik's Cube, right? One's a magic cube. One's a speed cube. One is the glass cube. One's the mirror cube. And we had to figure out what the algorithms were for all of them. But once we did, we can communicate better, we can connect better, and they can succeed more. So it can apply to every other area of your life. Coaches that talk about the algorithm of success in fitness, the algorithm of success in sales, the algorithm of success in leadership. All of life is filled with puzzles. All of life is filled with algorithms. All of life is filled with opportunities to learn it, to hone it, and to excel in every environment. So what's your environment? That's the question. On your positive play call card today, which, by the way, if you've not downloaded those yet, go to dallasdailyshow.com. Get the positive play call. Here's what I'm going to have you write on your positive play call card today. I succeed in every environment. And may I recommend that you put that somewhere where you're going to see it. Maybe your home office desk. Put it somewhere where it can remind you every time you see it. I succeed in every environment. All right, that's it. That's all I got for you, my friends. I have to apologize, by the way. I have forgotten to consistently pray for your 4 eyes. So let me do it here. I'm going to pray that you increase in your 4 eyes: insight, imagination, intention, and impact. May you increase today in your insight of revelation of what you are learning. May you increase today in your imagination of who you are and what's possible for you. May you also increase today in your intention of what you will plan to do and what you do. And may you increase in your impact, your positive impact in the world around you. May you increase in your 4 eyes, my friends. And may you also have a championship day.
Thanks for listening to my dad's podcast. For more tools, go to dallasdailyshow.com. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Thank you.